All right, class. So this is your your third, second, third help video on the project. Okay, it's either second or third. I can't remember. But I went over the first four tasks. So now I'm gonna go over part two. Okay, so we have our distance formula. We're gonna go over this part right here. All right, so we already have our part created. So now we're doing the distance. Remember, the distance formula is d is equal to the square root, and we have the x's, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 and squared. That's the distance formula, okay? So we're going to use the distance formula to find the distance between these two points here. So we got the help center ordered pair, and we have the water slide ordered pair. So the help center ordered pair is 0, 0, and the water slide ordered pair is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 and negative 3 and positive 5. Okay. All right, negative 3, positive 5. Okay, so this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. And we use the formula. We substitute. Our distance is going to equal the square root. We got x2 minus x1. So x2 here is negative 3 minus 0. Negative 3 minus 0 and square it, plus y2, 5 minus 0, y1 and square it. All right, so here we got negative 3 here and squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be 9, positive 9, plus 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so now what we have is 25 plus the 9, which gives you 34. So distance is equal to the square root of 34. Let's find the decimal for the square root of 34. So the decimal for the square root of 34, second x squared, and then 34, and that's 583. So we got 583, 5.83. So it's about 583 units, okay? And so that's what we have so far, 583 units. All right, so you're going to do that for each of these. You're going to write the formula. Don't forget to write the ordered pairs for both. Then label it x1, y1, because that's the first point. x2, y2 is the second point. And then calculate the distance by first writing the formula. You got your x2 minus your x1 and square it. Plus, you got y2 minus your y1 and square it. And then find the square root at the end like we did here. Okay? All right, so that is how you do the task 5 and finding the distance. Okay, let's move to the next task. All right, converting dimensions. Okay, so you got all of these. Make sure you finish that. Now you're going to convert dimensions. Okay, so let's convert. Here we have a large rectangular piece of land, and we are going to figure out what the ratio is so that we can find the distance. Okay, so look at this right here. The first thing we do is we're going to count the number of spaces along the length of your paper. So look, so we got, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So for me, it's 24 spaces, okay, on my graph paper. All right, so the whole space is going to be 300 301 meters. 301 meters, that's a lot of feet. 300, 300 meters, let me do 300 meters is about, I'm going to do 300 meters instead. Oh, what? No, hold on. Okay, so 301 meters, leave it alone. 301 meters is about 987 feet. About, okay? Roughly 987 feet. Okay? All right, so the whole park is 987 feet. Okay? That's the whole park. So, um, let's see, set the ratio. So 24 spaces is going to be 301 meters. So this is how we're setting up our ratio when we're solving these problems. We're gonna say the um, the model size. Let's do 24. How many units on the graph? Units to the actual amount, which is going to be 301. Okay, so you're going to find the actual space between here and here. Okay, so I'm going to look at the distance. Remember, the distance was how many units? 5.83. Do you see how we did that? We got 5.83. So to set up the ratio to find the actual amount, we're going to say 24 units over 301 meters, okay, is equal to the distance, which is 5.80. Let's say 5.80. What? I forgot just that quick. 5.83 units on top, and we're trying to find the actual amount. So here, what we do is we use cross multiplication. Okay, so this is going to be 24x, and we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply 301 times 5.83. Okay, and that's going to give us this, which is 1,754.83. Now we're going to divide both sides by 24. Okay, so I'm going to take this number and divide it by 24, and that's going to give us about 73 meters. So it's about, so X, the distance here is about 73 meters. Okay, an actual size. It's about 73 meters. All right. Okay. So you're going to do that for each of these. You're going to find the distance on the previous page. Okay. And whatever this distance is on the previous page, you are going to write that ratio again. Use the same ratio, 24 units on the paper. And remember, your units might be different from mine. You got to count the number of spaces on your paper, okay? So we got 24, and then whatever the distance is that you find between the toddler and the concession stand over X. Okay, so put your distance here, and you cross multiply like we did here to find the actual distance in meters from here to here. Okay, all right, so you're going to do that for task number 6. Okay, so task 7, writing equations for task 7. Okay, you're going to write an equation for the help, from the help center to the water slide. So we're going to go back and find the slope. Okay, the slope. We already calculated the slope in, I think it was task 3. So we're going to use this slope, 5 over 6. You see the slope from the help center to the water slide? We're going to use that 5 over 6. Go back and use your slope. Okay, 5 over 6 is my slope. And I'm going to pick one of these points. The help center for me was the easiest point. That was 0, 0. So I'm going to use the help center ordered pair. Doesn't matter which one of these I use. I can use this ordered pair or this one. Now I'm going to find B. Okay, I know that this is going to be 5 over 6x, okay? And then my B is going to be, and make sure that this doesn't look like x is on the bottom. I'll just do 5 over 6 like this, okay? Or I can write it as a decimal. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for B. Y equals mx plus b. Use the slope-intercept form. And I'm going to plug in 0 for x and 0 for y. 5 over 6 times 0 plus b. So this is going to be, this is 0 here. So b is 0. Okay? And so this is my answer here. All right? That's my equation. Okay? So now you're going to do the same thing for the other ones and write an equation. Take the slope from the previous page, task 3, write the slope down. You're going to use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Take one of these points, either the toddler or the concession stand, to substitute for x and y and solve for b. Okay? All right, and write your equation. All right, task, it's all of these tasks right here. Okay? All right, so task 8, we're going to take the two equations that they give you, whatever two equations you get, and we're going to set them equal to each other to figure out where's the point that they cross. So we're going to take the equations, the two equations that we found. Okay, so let's see, the two equations, the first two equations were these two equations right here. So whatever these two equations are here, we're going to set them equal to each other and solve. Okay, set them equal to each other and we're going to solve them. So that would mean that you would have on this side, you'd have 5 over 6x is equal to whatever the equation is here. If the equation here is 2x plus 5, then you write it here, okay? And now solve for x. You move the x's to the same side. So this is going to be, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Yeah, that's easier. And so now this is going to be 1 and we got, well, let's write it as a fraction. Okay, so I got, show you how to do this. I've got 5 over 6 and I'm going to subtract 2. I'm going to write it as a fraction, math, enter, and this gives me negative 7 over 6. So my fraction is negative 7 over 6x is equal to 5. Okay, so to solve for x, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, negative 6 over 7 on both sides. So this gives me just x here. This gives me just x here is equal to, when I multiply straight across, this gives me a negative 30 on the top and 7 on the bottom. Okay, so my order, so I got this. My x coordinate is going to be 30 over, so now I got to find my y coordinate. So now I'm going to take x value and substitute it into one of these equations. The equation I'm going to substitute it into is this one because it was the easier one to find x. So I'm going to replace this with x. So I have y is equal to 5 over 6. Why is it my screen is like this? Lord of mercy. Times negative 30 over 7. So my y is equal to, multiply straight across, I have 5 times a negative 30, which is negative 50, 150. And then I have 6 divided by, Lord have mercy, 6 times 7, that's 42. Okay, so now I need to reduce that. I have negative 150 divided by 42, and I can do math, enter. So that's negative 25 over 7. Or if you prefer to use decimals, you can use decimals, okay? And I can show you a lot of that during class, probably Thursday, okay, when we're gonna be working very diligently on that section. All right, so let me see. So we're done with that. I've already explained how to do those. Okay. And then the last task is just writing a reflection piece. So you're looking over your work and you're summarizing the um, the different tasks. Like, what did you do in the first task? What did you do in the second task? And do at least 3 sentences. Like, what did you do, and why do you think each of these tasks are important? Like the mapping, the first task where you have to do the order pairs. Of course, doing a map is super important because that's how we do layouts. That's how you build things. A person that is building a park has to have a map to go by. Has to have an accurate map. Okay, because safety is super important. And these things are important. That's stuff that you need to say. And you can add something to it. Um, Two, the second task was the different locations. People in when you're in flying in the air, they use coordinate planes to for location. Location is super important. GPS, all of these things are important. So having a particular location or an ordered pair is super important to finding things. Okay, and you have to have a map for your customers. So all of those things are important. The task 3. Okay, go through task 3. I forgot what task 3 was, y'all. Okay, locating your slope or your rate of change. It's super important to find your rate of change or your locations there. All these things are super important. I'm gonna let you write why you think these things are important. I gave you the first ones. Finding the midpoint. Why would finding the midpoint be so important? Especially to if you're traveling in a group. Okay, we want to meet in the middle somewhere. Okay. Distance. Why is calculating the distance super important? How far you got to go. Okay. Um, what's the next one? Dimensions, actual dimensions. Why is that important to a builder? Okay. Why would that be so important to find actual dimensions in a build? Why is writing an equation important? You can make predictions when you write equations. Okay. Yeah, writing equations can tell you exactly what the pattern is. You can look at something and tell what's the rate of change, what is it going to be over time, what's the starting amount. The writing an equation helps you make predictions there. Okay. Um, and let's see here. This task, when are 2 points going to be equal? When is the point of intersection? The point that we can meet? Where's the point? Um, the solution? Okay. So there's different reasons as to why you would have to find the point of intersection there. Okay. That's that task. And is that the last one? Yep, that's the last one. So I did. It only asks for the 5 tasks, and I think I probably no 6, 7. Okay, I did them all. All right, and then your reflection. The last part is what are your thoughts and feelings regarding your work that you produced in this project, and what might you change to if you were to do this again? Okay, would be something that you change, and how could the information that you learned, um, the tasks you did, or the skills you develop help you in your community in the future? Okay, so these are the questions that you were answering in your reflection piece. Okay, and again, each question, at least come up with 3 sentences for each one of those questions. Okay, at least 3 sentences. All right, in paragraph form. So please make sure punctuation is good. Do your spell check. Do your grammar check because I am going to be looking for those things because it's super important that you're able to articulate yourself. All right, so that's the entire project. You guys are going to do amazing. If you have more questions, just let me know, okay? Have a good day. Bye.